Hello and welcome to another update video. We want to talk about XOP. I record this video in advance, so the price might have changed a little bit, but I am very busy this week. So I have recorded some videos in advance, but I specifically looked for interesting opportunities on the larger time frames that you might want to put on your watch list or observe. As always, this is no financial advice or anything, but I see potential opportunities in the energy sector. The good news is that Elliott wave always tells us when we are wrong. So there is typically a level that when broken will need us or will require us to reassess the chart, reassess the outlook. And I tell you all these levels, so that means if you decide that you might want to take a position or something, then you also know which is the level that, if broken, will mean we have to reassess, reinterpret the chart. So XOP is an ETF. It's called the Oil and Gas Exploration and Production ETF, ticker XOP. We have seen so far 3 waves to the upside of the 2020 low. This is the 4-day chart. I want to stay on this high time frame. Again, it's because it's pre-recorded, and the idea is here to suggest maybe a potential setup for a longer term swing trade. Again, I can really only share with you the levels where I believe that the price has a good chance to turn around. I'm not suggesting you buy this. This is entirely up to you. But for myself, I'm looking for opportunities in the energy sector at the moment, and XOP is one that I found. So what we've seen here, 3 waves up, and then since the June 22 high, which was made at around $170, we have seen consolidation. And there are basically, for me, 2 ways how this can unfold. There are more, but there are 2 scenarios within this uptrend that I can see. First one is that we topped here in a 3rd wave in June 22. We moved down in an A wave, moved up in a B wave, and came down in a C wave. So we've completed this structure in wave C, and with that we completed wave 4 already, and now we are pushing higher already in wave 5, and within wave 5 we have already completed the A wave. We're now pulling back in the B wave, and we should then rally in a C wave. Now, if that is going to be all of wave 5, or if this is just an ABC structure which will be part of an even larger ABC structure, that is something that we need to figure out in the future. That's not necessarily a question for now. Like this, okay? The other scenario is that this wave 4 is actually unfolding as a triangle and not finished yet. And if it's a triangle, it's the yellow count that's playing out. And in this triangle, it might stretch a little lower, this E wave, yeah? So what we can do is calculate some targets for the E wave. How do we do that? We take the length of the C wave, we go to the high of the D wave, and then typically we are watching for the area between the 38.2 extension and 61.8 extension level. So this is certainly an area to watch. Between $135, we've already touched it, and $124. So again, there is not really a rule how, where an E wave needs to stop. What it shouldn't do is break, or what it mustn't do is to break below the C wave low, and that is at $114. So I'm watching here these 2 scenarios. One is wave 4 already completed. In this scenario, we're already in wave 5, or the other one is wave 4 is already is still unfolding, but price must not drop below that $114, $115 level. And that means we have a potential setup, because we could have started wave 5 and we're now doing a bit of a pullback there. Now, it's not a hike. I mean, it's looking good. It's a setup on a larger time frame that could send the price, if it goes well, into the region around $220, maybe even $300, medium term, long term. But it's not like we have an impulse here, okay? So, the better setup would have been down here, but we're a bit late for that, okay? But still, I want to share with you what I found. You might want to assess this, take a look at it, put it on your watch list, and make your decisions. I find it interesting because it offers a good reward to risk ratio. What I can tell you is below the $114, $115 level, yeah, surely it could reset the wave 4 a little lower, but then things would get a bit uncertain. So this is really an active setup as long as the $114 level is holding, because it gives a decent reward to risk ratio target to the upside. I mean, this is the Fibonacci zone. I'd like to see at least $223. And if we measure reward and risk here, let's just assume we would take a position right now. It's obviously a bit more complicated than that, maybe staggered entries or something, but let's say it just reaches $222. And let's say we set a stop below that $114 level, then we have a reward to risk ratio of above 4, over 4. That's pretty decent. Yeah, that's pretty good. And yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, these targets are coming from Fibonacci extensions. Obviously, you could also say that when we look at previous resistance levels, there is, funny enough, this previous structural resistance at $225. And up there, we've got the $336 level as significant high. So yeah, I mean, there are of course alternatives. There are also bearish alternatives. But the key is this is an active setup as long as it's holding $114. I mean, again, below that level, it might reset wave 4. It might even turn into something more bearish. But they're all possibilities. For now, we know that support is holding, and we might have started already wave 5. So that means we need to be prepared for a potential move down all the way to $114 in an extreme case. If we break below that, we just have to reassess the chart. That doesn't mean it will be bearish, but it means we need to look for a new setup. So very, very simple. And yeah, maybe one look at the one day chart. It is looking good, but there is currently, and I have to say that as well, there is currently absolutely no evidence that a low has formed. So let's say you're a trader, you might obviously want to take a look at that chart. You might want to integrate that potentially into your own strategy. If you, depending on how you trade, you might find an entry and then consider the setup as well. But yeah, I find that a good opportunity. Wanted to share that with you. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you're interested in daily updates about the S&P 500 as well as regular updates about stocks, then check out our stocks and S&P 500 service. You can find the link in the video description. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.